Hello, guys. So we are gonna get started soon. This is my first time using. So basically, I got a bunch. I got like 3 more new Wings of Fire books for us. Yay! Let's start the book. Are you ready? Because here we go. Clay glanced around. The ice rink to his left was asleep. The platform to his right was still empty. If he stood at the edge of his prison and spread his wings, and Peril crouched down, he might be able to shield her from the eyes of the Queen. He tried opening his wings again and winced. The clamp bent the outside of his wings in as if it were rolled under and pinned up. But he still should have been able to open most of his wing, even if he couldn't fly with it. I'm too sore, he said to Peril. I'll try, but I can't really open my wings right now, so I don't know if I can hide you. Peril frowned. Let me see, she said, pointing to his back imperiously. He hunched around until his back was toward her. She drew a sharp breath. That sounds bad, he said, trying to twist his neck around to see. It can't be that bad. Castro believes that claws so they can grip the ice as they walk. It's like getting clawed 4 times with each claw instead of 1. Can you picture that? Sort of, Clay said. Feels better with you near it. I don't know how to fix it, she said, sounding frustrated and helpless. He felt her heart draw a little closer. I guess I could stand here if that helps. Clay remembered the poison cave under the mountain and the stinging pain under scales. He wondered if the same treatment would work here. There's one thing, he said hesitantly. If it's not asking too much, I think putting mud on the scratches might help. Oh my gosh, of course, she cried. That's it, I can get you mud. Wait here. She sprang off to tell her and flew away. Wait here, echoed to the empty space, because I was going to go where? For a walk? He pulled his wings in and tried to huddle against the wind, but it howled at him from every direction. And the tower was even colder now that Peril was gone. The pain felt worse and worse as the moments tickled by, and the moons rose higher in the sky. He was shivering badly by the time he saw her spiraling up toward him. Between her front talons, she was carrying a large rock cauldron filled with thick brown mud. Clay twisted around to watch her as she landed behind him. "Where'd you get that?" he asked. Pearl nodded at one of the distant walls of the Queen's palace. Clay squinted and saw the reflected glint of moonlight off a cascading waterfall. Diamond Spray River starts at the bottom of that wall, Pearl said. It leads all the way to the sea. At least that's what I hear. I've never left the Sky Kingdom. She stuck one of her claws into the cauldron. Clay watched curiously as the mud began boiling. "Why not?" he asked. "You must be one of the most powerful dragons here. Why don't you just come and go as you please?" Pearl looked a little shocked. "I would never disobey Her Majesty. That's how my mother got killed." A theory suddenly popped into Clay's head, but he could explore it. Pearl kept talking. "Besides, I have to eat the black rocks every day or I'll die. The Queen makes sure there are always enough for me." "Black rocks," Clay said, puzzled. "It's part of the curse of having too much fire," Pearl said. With a shrug, I'm lucky the Queen takes so much care of me to keep me alive." "Have you ever tried not eating them?" Clay asked. "Once, when I was a lot younger," Pearl said, shifting her tones awkwardly. "I got mad at Her Majesty because she wouldn't tell me anything about my mother. I wanted to run away, so I stopped eating the rocks to see what would happen. And I got really sick, like almost dying sick." "Oh," Clay said. Her story had a feel of wrongness to it, like scales that didn't overlap properly. It seemed pretty convenient that the Queen just happened to have a way to control the most dangerous dragon in her kingdom. But he was hardly an expert on skywings with weird, deadly conditions. "Is that also why you don't challenge her for the throne?" Clay asked. "Because I'm betting you could beat her in a fight." Pearl gave an outraged squawk and nearly hit him with her tail. "I don't want to be queen. What an apple thought. Stop saying treasure Trezno stings and turn around." Clay presented his back to her, opening his wings as wide as he could. Some part of him expected her to plaster the hot mud on with her talons, but he realized she couldn't do that without burning him. Just before Pearl flung the entire uh, of contents of the cauldron over his scales. "Yeah," Clay clamped his teeth down hard, forcing himself himself not to yell. The mud was as hot as Kestrel's fire breath, and at first he felt like all his scales were being burned off. Then the shock passed, and a moment later the heat became bearable. Clay felt the mud soaking into his injuries, instantly soothing the pain. If only he'd had something like this after all his training sessions with Kestrel. Much better, Pearl said with satisfaction. Clay rolled his shoulders. His muscles already felt looser and stronger. Wow, does this work for all mudwings? Of course, she said. How could you not know that? What about other dragons? Clay asked, turning around to face her. He wondered if this was a trick he could use to heal his friends if they were ever together and free again. I don't think so, she said. I'm not sure anyone's tried, because that would be weird. Like, what kind of Skyling would let you put mud on her scales? Yuck. It's the greatest feeling in the world, Clay said. Well, maybe after flying and eating. Gosh, I'm hungry. I'll just fetch and carry for uh, for you all night, shall I? Pearl said. Oh no, you don't have to. But she was already gone. Clay sat down and tucked his tail around his talons, thinking. He had a pretty good idea. Why Pearl wasn't supposed to watch the trial tomorrow. Queen Scarlet had said something about Kestrel disobeying her. Plus there was those burn scars on Kestrel's talons. And it wasn't too hard to imagine Kestrel trying to kill her own dragonette, especially once she figured out there was something wrong with her. Pearl thought her mother was dead. How would she react when she found out it was Kestrel and she was still alive? Chapter 20. Pearl brought him 3 rabbits and 2 more cauldrons of mud during the night. She stayed at the edge of the rock platform, but the heat from her scales helped keep the mud warm on Clay's back. It also kept nightmares away. While he was talking to her, the weight of Clay's guilt felt lighter, which was strange. He knew Pearl was responsible for a lot more death than he was, but he didn't bother her. He wished he could be so untroubled if he had to fight in the arena again. Perhaps he could take monster lessons from her. Won't someone be looking for you? He asked as the sun started rising over the sea. She shook her head. I'm supposed to be down there, down in the caves, looking for black rocks all day, she said. As long as I stay up here behind you, hopefully no one will notice me, not even the guards. They won't feed the prisoners until midday, she said. The trial is set for dawn. Look, see? She edged a bit closer to him, pecking around his wing. Let's see how much pages we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've heard chapter 21 is not that long. Okay. So Claire looked down and saw dragons fill into the room. Oh, it looks like we're out of time. See you later. Bye.